Hey guys, if you're interested in influencer marketing for your small to medium-sized company, check me out. Hit me up, Tom at tomward.com or at Montreal1 on social media. If you're not using influencer marketing to grow your business, you should. It's by far the most effective form of advertising. I've done dozens of campaigns successfully. I've gotten incredible ROI. And most importantly, I have connections with some of the top influencers in the game. I can text these people, I've got great relationships with them, and I can help grow your sales, grow your social media presence, whatever your goal is. So check me out, Tom at tomward.com or at Montreal1 on social. Thanks, guys. We're sitting here with Nikita Dragun. I'm so excited to sit down with you. And the first time you came on my radar was on Twitter, right? I'm not your target demo.
Okay.
I saw you on Twitter. I saw the Victoria's Secret thing, and I was blown away.
The thing is, so it was Ed Razek who said that.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing is, I totally would not have had a problem with it because in some way, and this is what the argument was for a lot of people, it was, well, it's their fashion show. They should be able to hire whoever they want to. And I totally agree with that. I mean, it's your fashion show. You can do whatever you want. Maybe some people support it. But what I had a problem with and what I went crazy over was the fact that he said that trans women and plus size women can't sell the fantasy.
Oh, is that what he said? Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you know, I just think it's like so disgusting in this age for someone to make those comments just so loosely. And well, for me growing up, I was always idolizing the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
The wings and the $1 million bras.
The $1 million bra. You see these goddesses walking down the runway. And for me as a little boy with big girl dreams, transitioning, it was just such a pinnacle moment for me to, you know, sit there with my eyes glued to the TV and watch these beautiful women.
And now you're being told it's never going to happen. We don't want it to happen.
And to be like, oh, well, trans girls aren't the fantasy. They can't sell the fantasy. Plus size women cannot sell the fantasy. I'm like,
But think about it. Like, as a business person, I would think that's a great way. Like, imagine the good press you have if you have a beautiful trans woman in there.
Absolutely.
Walking it, all the positive press. You know, these days it's great to be inclusive and bring everybody to the party. It would be good business, it seems like, to do that. But by going the other way, it seems like you just alienate all these potential customers. I'm sure there's a lot of plus-size girls out there buying Victoria's Secret.
Plenty.
That don't want to buy it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been clear that they haven't been as inclusive just in general, especially with their sizes over the years. But I think people just kind of put up with it. I mean, it's like, whatever, it's the fantasy Victoria.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just so crazy for them to make that crazy statement and really just imply that. And what
was the feedback you got on Twitter? Because that's how I saw you. Like, what was the response?
Well, I mean, for me, I just immediately took it as, okay, you know what?
Shots fired.
Shots fired. And I was like, yeah, I could tweet. I could go in all day, you know, make a bunch of tweets and go off on this guy. But I was like, there's no better way to do it than just show people. So I put it all together very quickly with my team. And it was just so dramatic to get everything together. And somehow it got put and compiled and tweeted out.
The video you made.
The video.
And we'll include a shot right here.
Oh,
the
wait.
Video,
is this you walking?
This video here. Yeah, you looked incredible.
No, thank you. It was a crazy moment for me because I truly I wasn't posting it thinking, oh my God, this is going to go viral. I was posting it as just a clear stance on how I felt, and just the feedback immediately as soon as I posted it, I knew something was different about it. Like, I mean, for me as an influencer, you know, I you know, the second I post something, I can tell how it's going to do based on the likes and, you know, all this stuff and all sorts of comments. But this one, I have never posted something and just, I felt it. Like, it just immediate was, and I was just watching it go and go and go, and it was wild to see the people being so supportive and also being so against it. And so it was
it was both sides. A lot of hate too.
It was a lot of hate, and even till this day it's a lot of hate. But you know, the positive always outweighs the hate for me. You know, I've been getting hate all my damn life, girl. You know, I'm like, what's one more comment from someone in bumfuck nowhere, you know? So I think it just opened up the conversation, and that's all I wanted.
How many views did it get?
So right now on Instagram, it's 11 million.
Wow. How many is a normal video when you post on Insta?
Probably like 2 to 3 million.
Wow.
7 million if it's like a killer video.
And you got 11 on this.
11 million, and it happened so fast. It was the fastest it's ever happened for me, and it's my most liked thing ever, over 1 million likes.
Wow.
And on Twitter, it has, I think now 10 million as well. So between the two, that's
a lot for Twitter,
21 million. And you want to know the real gag? Not to be shady. Not to be shady for a second. But the Victoria's Secret fashion show, I think this year pulled like 3 million views or something like that.
Ouch.
Isn't that crazy?
Ouch. Wow, they got 3 million views. Yeah.
But I'm not the fantasy.
Let me ask you this: like, is it been backlash in the trans community? I mean, people need underwear and bras and all that stuff. Like, is there kind of like almost like a boycott against Victoria's Secret for those comments? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it.
Like, why would you buy Victoria's Secret panties now?
I think it's more of like okay, you know what? This person made that statement, and this is the head of the company. So trust me, there's plenty of other lingerie places
who want the business.
Yeah, who want the business.
Yeah.
You know, there's Fenty, there's Marco, there's all sorts of different things. Girl, I'd rather go to the damn Walmart over here to get myself something than to go to Victoria's Secret.
Well, isn't that wild? Like, it's 2019 now, and it seems like you've come a long way, and
Absolutely.
you know, you look great, you've
Thank
got
you.
following, you're making this your career, but like, is it every kind of turn? It's like, oh fuck, here we go, here's another asshole.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're doing well. Hey, we're accepted, we're inclusive. You know, blah blah blah. Here's another hateful comment. Like, do you just get used to it? Do you ever get discouraged?
I try not to get discouraged, but since now it's this new year, I feel like, you know, identity and gender and sexuality, again, it's so important. But for me, I feel like, you know, I'm so much more than a trans woman. You're so much more than a cisgender boy or like a man. You know, it's like, it's just, it's something about yourself, but I feel like it's not everything.
No.
So I just feel like, you know, I've always lived my life very authentically. I'm not just, in a sense, waving this flag like, oh my God, you know, pity me. Oh my God, everyone needs to change their views or whatever because of me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you know what, I live my life and you live your life, and I should have every right to do whatever I want
100%.
the same way you do. So I think it is kind of really frustrating to constantly get these barriers and constantly come up with these like roadblocks, especially in all aspects of the industry.
Yeah.
And it kind of falls on my shoulders now that I have this like weight of like, okay, girl, you know, you have this huge following.
Now, what are you gonna do with it?
What are you gonna do with it? And
sell them hoodies?
yeah, like
Right.
girl,
Like every other YouTuber.
You want a pop stocking? You want a hoodie? That's just not me.
Yeah.
It's really not me, and also too, it's just not in my nature to stand idly by.
Yeah.
With those things, and I'm like, you know, in any way I can help. I'm not gonna be here and be like, oh my God, everyone, go donate to this charity, whatever, whatever. It's just very. I'm a very like hands-on. I'll do it. I got it.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's pussy stunting and selling the fantasy and doing wings and being in a little thong, that's just what it has to be.
Well, I think one of the most inspiring things about you is your story. Now, take us back. So you're from Virginia, and you said you knew you were different and wanted to transition almost at 8 years old.
Yeah.
You said so. What did you feel like when you were 7, 8 years old?
No, it was actually even younger.
Oh wow.
It was about when I was in preschool. So I don't know how old you are in preschool, so maybe I'm wrong.
I got a daughter, and she's 4 years old.
4?
She's in preschool, yeah.
Okay, so 4. So I didn't know gender was a thing. I mean, of course, growing up, like, you're 4 years old. You don't think boy, girl, you know, you kind of get it, but you don't really. And I just remember having this moment when I was in preschool. I was dressing up with the other girls because I would never nap. I've always been, like, super mature for my age. So I just would never want to nap. So I'd be like, yeah, I want to put on a dress. I want to look cute. Like, everyone else can nap. I'm going to be a princess over here.
You were the most even in preschool?
Oh, from the jump, from my mother's womb, like out of it, I was just like, eh. But for me, it was crazy because that was the moment when another teacher came into the room. My teacher was really cool. Shout out to Miss Melanie. It was on a military base, so maybe that didn't help.
Okay.
A preschool on the military base because my dad's in the military. And she came in and she was like, what are you letting this little boy do? What the F? You know, going crazy. We need to call his parents. All sorts of stuff, and I got, you know, in the biggest trouble for.
What were you doing? Dressing up like a girl?
Yeah, I was putting on a dress with the other girls, and playing princess and being cute. Yeah. And
that was the first time you realized this isn't okay.
I was like, well, why can't I do what she's doing?
That's so sad.
Yeah. It is really sad, and I'm hopeful that, you know, in the future, like, things like that don't happen, because imagine how I would have turned out, you know, had I had the freedom to do or be whoever I wanted to be.
So you're on a military base in Virginia, and I'm from the East Coast too. It's kind of a different vibe out there. And you're running around in dresses as a kid. Like, what's the reaction at the time? Did you have to kind of keep it on the DL, or were you just pretty, you know?
Well, that was the first time I ever was like, oh, okay, oh my God, okay, I'm not supposed to do this? Okay, cool. So after that, shut it down. And I was just questioning and wondering, and I was really good at hiding it, you know? I mean, at first, I never even knew what trans meant, transgender. Girl, I'm 5 years old, like 4 years old. Like, I just knew I was different. Yeah. And I knew there were certain things about myself that I couldn't show, otherwise I would get bullied or teased. Okay. So I just thought it was, at first, just being gay. I was like, okay, well, I want to, like, dress up like the girls. In my dreams, I'm always a girl. I always want to be a girl. Like, I want to play with girl things and whatever. And so I just learned from an early age. So it was really hard, especially at certain times, but you know, I made my way through it. But if girl, middle of nowhere in Virginia.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I ever looked at, which is crazy, was gay porn. I know that sounds so weird, but like,
how old were you at the time?
Oh my God, it's probably 7 or 8.
Okay, right.
I just was like, what does it mean if you're a boy and you like boys?
Yeah.
Gay. And then I click on, I'm
Click,
so
click,
young.
click.
Click. Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
sure.
dial-up.
All the pop-up
ads. And I was, sitting there watching all sorts of crazy porn, but gay. And I was like, okay, well, that's a guy, and he likes other guys, so maybe that's me.
Yeah.
And so that was the first thing I
But
thought.
even then, like, I remember getting Playboys from my buddy's
Yeah.
older brother, and, like, like, you're 8 years old, but you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I kind of like looking at this stuff.
Oh, no.
Like, did you
I just
feel
thought
that at the time?
No, I just thought the girls were so pretty. I was like, oh, they're so pretty, and, like, I want to look like them.
In high school, did you become more, like, what was high school like? No, so
yeah.
Were you kind of more open about things, or were you
Super
still...
open.
Oh, you were?
Super open. I started being, I was like, okay, well, first of all, there's no hiding it at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I am so... At the time, thinking I'm so gay, like there's just no hiding it.
Yeah. But it's one thing being gay, which it was kind of risky.
Yeah.
But it's another thing like trans, like that's a whole nother thing. So at the time where you're just like, I'm gay.
I was just gay.
I
could only wrap my mind around being gay at the time.
Baby steps, one thing at a time.
Baby steps,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I'm just the most hyper feminine
gay guy out there.
Gay guy there is, and so I would dress in like tight jeans, necklaces, hair pulled up, lashes, the whole works, and a little purse.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just kind of accepted me, and I was just the super, 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 super gay one.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just such a different time now.
Sure.
And it was very mixed with like all different types of races. We had girls with hijabs. We had, all sorts of ethnicities. And we did have a lot of like gays and things like that. It was just always so funny because I never really identified with the gays. I was like, yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I just like was never, I just wanted more. And so it wasn't until after high school that's when I like really started developing my trans identity.
So you went to college. Where'd you go to school?
Oh, you want the crazy story? You want the like?
I want the crazy story.
Okay.
Let's
So
go.
I was supposed to go to NYU.
Oh, wow.
NYU Tisch.
So you were smart. So you got good grades?
Well, no, not even that. I know.
How do you get into NYU
My
then?
Asian father would have loved that. No, not even that. I was just so great at performing, and I was in musical theater, so that was my whole life.
Okay.
So I went and auditioned for the musical theater program, the BA, and I got accepted, full ride scholarship.
Wow.
Had my whole life planned out for me. I was going to be that little gay boy who made it out of a small town.
In New York,
in
the
New
big
York,
city.
to go to big city and be on Broadway and do the most.
Yeah.
And at that time, I just was like, wow, this is everything I want. It's golden ticket, my way out of Virginia.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel right. It just, something in me was like, nope. Mm-mm.
You didn't take the full ride? Did your parents think you were crazy?
Devastated.
Yeah.
My parents were
Crushed.
They're probably watching
Asian
now.
parents,
Asian,
NYU, great
yeah, my
school.
mom Mexican, so she had the chancla. My dad Asian, so he got the bamboo stick.
Yeah.
It just threw them for a loop because they're like, well,
what's plan B? What
we
are you
were
gonna
so open to you being artsy and doing all that. We let you go to dance classes, musical theater, voice lessons, everything, and all of a sudden you're going to throw that away. But I just explained it to them simply like, I just need a year to figure it out. I'm going to go to community college.
Okay.
It's going to be cheaper for you anyways, regardless.
Yeah.
But I just need a moment to think about it. And because it was the first time I ever thought, wow, if I go to musical theater, then it's going to be like boy number one. Like I'm going to be hired, in acting and stuff. And the reason why I was so good at acting was because I was acting as a boy for 18 years of my life.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, if I went down that path, I would just be stuck. And I saw that for myself. And so I was like, no, I just need something else. So I was like,
Yeah.
And so I got a fake ID. I knew that I would not be accepted as a boy, 21.
Okay.
I was like, no one's ever going to believe that. So I changed it to Nicole. Same photo, same picture, short hair, buzzed, blonde at the time, lashes, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I started going out by myself in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And I would just start experimenting with this whole new life of mine. I was like, well, if I'm Nicole, then I'm just going to wear a bra.
Okay.
And that's it. And the rest was just me.
Okay.
And so I was going out, and people would be like, oh, hi, she, oh, her, referring to me as a woman for the first time. And I was like, wow, this is so
This is easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
This is so nice. This is like kind of what I want. And like boys are coming up to me
Yeah,
and,
it's nice.
just experiencing all sorts of things. It was
But you're figuring out, you're playing, you're running around D.C. getting in trouble.
getting in trouble, doing the most. And
When's YouTube coming into the picture?
around that time, I started Instagram first.
Okay.
So on Instagram, I was like, okay, I'm going to start posting. And I was even experimenting with Instagram in high school. I was that person that posted 400 tags, deleted it, posted 400 more, deleted it.
I didn't get enough likes. Delete
yeah,
that post.
to try to, you know, and everyone's thinking I'm crazy because that was way before social media was really kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't going ham with it, but I was experimenting. And I especially went in because I'm like, okay, I'm living this alternate life, so let me have an Instagram for my alternate life. And
So you had your regular Instagram, boy pictures and everything, and then you had double secret Instagram.
no, I just deleted the boy one. I
Oh.
was like, boy one,
Gone.
Let me create this new one.
So do your friends and family have access to this one, or this is like undercover?
Some of my friends did,
Okay.
not my family.
Your good friends, yeah.
My good friends, and it was really special for me because I would just post pictures.
Okay.
No one knew I was trans or a boy or anything. Everyone just thought I was a girl. So that was my first time experimenting with like the internet because I was just like, I love this because everyone just treats me as if I'm just this girl from Virginia.
You
with
get nice comments.
Nice comments.
likes.
But, I mean, you know, some bad ones too, but you know, that's the typical life of any girl on Instagram. But it was just my first time like really experiencing that, and then that what further developed my YouTube channel because I was like, okay, like let me start trying to do YouTube videos. But at first I wouldn't go ham with the YouTube because I didn't want people to know
Sure.
that I was trans.
It is
or
scary
that a
to
boy.
put yourself out there. Were you scared at all? Like, what if my dad sees my Instagram page?
Yeah.
Did they know what was going on at the time, or that was kind of?
They
Did they ever see you in a wig or bra or anything?
Yeah, so they caught me a couple times, and each time was like, but I think I kind of like, what's it called when you like kind of like tear them down a little bit, where it's like the shock value is less and less each time.
Yeah.
So they kind of just got over it. They got over me trying to, you know, I used to try to climb on my my roof because then I had to jump over because my parents had a security alarm and a dog.
Are you still living on the base at this time?
Yeah, no. Not on base.
Okay.
We had just a regular suburb house outside of the base.
Okay.
And so I would have to like jump off the roof, get in the car, put it in neutral, go
Like a
all the way
ninja.
down before Uber was really a thing.
Yeah.
Drive myself all the way out or get picked up by friends and like put on my wig or whatever. I think like one time I was coming back in and I scared like, you know, the shit out of my mom because she thought some girl was in my room or like climbing on the roof. They're like, who is this like blonde girl in like, you know, these cheap H&M heels and a black skirt climbing on my damn roof?
Yeah. So at this time, like you're doing the Instagram thing and stuff, but like how are you have money for the movies? How are you going out to dinner? Like, or do you have a part-time job, or are you working as a girl? Like, how does this all work?
Imagine I was a working girl. No, not yet.
Yeah, you're
Not
just
yet.
working at
Like,
Wendy's, you know.
I started getting like tiny bits of money from Instagram.
Like little brand deals?
Little tiny, and I didn't know what a brand deal was.
Okay.
For a brand to even send me a shirt, I was shook. I was like, oh my God. But I made my way. I did work one job at Panera.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
But as a girl?
No, as a like in between.
Okay, all right.
This was my senior year of high school, so I was like very hyper feminine. Earrings. Everyone's always thought I was a girl, even with shaved head, because I've always been so little. Yeah. And I'm super curvy, super feminine. Like I just it didn't add up. So you know, to people in Virginia, they're like, oh hi ma'am, oh she took my order. I'm like, oh I'm trying to be a boy. Or even too, when I would walk into the boys' restroom, people would be like, why are you in here? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a boy.
Yeah. How many followers did you have when you were getting these brand deals? Like. What was your Instagram
nothing,
following like?
Probably like 1,000.
Oh wow.
5,000. Yeah.
Okay.
So nothing. And even too, when they would pay me, it would be like $10.
Yeah.
$20, and I was like, oh my God, going crazy.
I made it. I'm here.
I made it. I was like, Mom, look, you know. And so I was just like, okay, well, at this point, you know, I'm like I don't even know what I was, but I was like, I can't go back to my life in New York, so I'm just gonna start a new life in LA. So I got accepted to a school here, FITM, in downtown for business and marketing for cosmetics. So it's a business degree, but for beauty.
Your parents gotta like that.
Love it.
Yeah. Working towards a degree.
Obsessed.
That's
I've always
good.
been obsessed with media, marketing, and stuff. I knew at the time I was like, well, I don't want to go to like beauty school. Like my passion is not, oh, I want to be an artist and do makeup. It was like, I want to be a business brand owner. I want to create things. I want to, you know, work for an amazing company and like be that dragon lady.
Yeah.
So I got accepted, and I've never visited LA. Never been, obviously, or like don't have family here, no connection, no friends, like nothing. And I convinced my parents, and they literally came, dropped me off, and then went home. And I was like, okay, all right,
Here I am.
Yeah. And that was the first day I started very seriously on Instagram, YouTube. I started transitioning kind of, and I started just starting getting into everything. Oh, it started school. Okay. So it was just like the first month was just a brand new start for me, because I met my first trans person ever.
At school?
At school, around school. I had a friend introduce me. So what happened was, when I came over here, I snuck into a Bellamy party It was Kylie's brand opening or something. Like Bellamy was opening the store on Robertson over here.
Okay.
It's funny now as a flashback because I just launched my wig collaboration with them 2 years later or a year later.
Oh, wow.
And it was their most successful thing. But imagine me not knowing what an event is.
Yeah.
Me not really being an influencer,
Mm-hmm.
but just knowing there was something. A line all the way down the block, wrapping around to get into this store. And I Ubered for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in. It was my first day of school too, so I like skipped school, put on a gray wig. I walked to the front of the line. I was like, "I'm here. My name's Nick Dragun," and they just let me in.
Yeah.
And I went in and I met all my YouTuber friends that I still have to this day.
Mm-hmm.
First time I was like, "What are people doing?" I was just like so almost naive to it.
Yeah.
That it worked to my benefit because I made friends, and from that day I got invited to another thing and another thing and it trickled and
Instagram grew bigger and bigger and bigger.
Instagram, yeah. And it wasn't even like I was like leeching off of people. It was
Mm-hmm.
more so like, oh wow, these are people who have made it and they're giving me tips and like telling me that this is a real thing.
Why is it harder now than it was? I mean, because you're not that old. I mean, we're not talking 15 years
this
ago,
was
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
What changed so much in 2 years?
I think people just got hip to it. I think people were like, oh my God, this is a real thing that people can do.
Yeah.
This is something, a living, you see.
You know, that's kids' number one career aspiration is YouTuber. It's not like it used to be, I want to play baseball or be a model.
Honey.
YouTuber number one.
That was like.
It wasn't even a job when you were in high school.
You know what's so funny? That was like such a high thought I had one time. I was like, wow, I wonder if now like people just think that they can like don't even need to go to college or like
Yeah.
don't even need a high school because I see
That's
people
exactly what
I
they
see
think.
people uploading vlogs in high school.
Yeah.
Millions of views and I'm like, honey, if that happened to me.
Shit, look at Ryan's toy review. The kid's 10 years old.
Oh, honey.
He made
over.
$25 million last year.
Over.
Yeah.
It would be over for me. So, but I'm just saying like it's like a new craze.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
A
everyone's
lot more
just-
competition.
just a lot of competition, whereas before there wasn't as many.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think it's just a little bit harder for people to grow and create their own lane. I think a lot of times people get in the mindset of like, oh, this is how, this person's doing it, so let me do it
I
like
gotta
that.
do the same thing, yeah. Do you shoot all your stuff yourself and edit it, or you have a team around?
I have a team now, but
When you started?
Yeah, when I started, absolutely. It was 100% me.
Oh, wow.
1,000%. And, balancing that with not only school, but transitioning and also just trying to figure out how I'm going to make rent payment with my 4 roommates in my tiny ass little bedroom in LA.
Did you finish school?
I did.
No way.
I finished school.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Very happy?
They're very, very happy because I debated. I had that moment where I was starting to pop off.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need the school thing.
Yeah, about probably halfway through my last year, my
Okay.
last quarter. And I was like, no, F this. Like, I was just getting so frustrated because for the whole time it was very Hannah Montana for me. I wouldn't tell anybody who I was.
I'm old. What the heck does being very Hannah Montana
Hannah Montana,
mean?
so she had Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she had Hannah Montana. So
Oh, I got
she
you,
would
okay.
go to school as Miley and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
be Hannah Montana, and people would talk about Hannah Montana but never put the two together because she put on a wig.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was leaving.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, I'd be in class. We'd be
Mm-hmm.
talking about makeup brands. We'd be talking about influencers for makeup brands. Like my school is very innovative
Yeah.
in that way. And I would be in class. They would report on me. Have no idea I was in sitting in the room.
They would be talking about you? How badass is that?
It was cool.
Yeah,
It
fuck
wasn't
yeah,
it
it's
wasn't
cool.
always the coolest thing. Sometimes because sometimes I would get into drama.
Mhm.
Like now there's so much internet drama and beauty
Beefs
drama
and
and
all,
whatever,
yeah.
all sorts of things. And so I would hear people talking about it, like, oh, did you hear what that dragon girl did? And I'd be sitting there like,
Would you start the conversation like, yo, you hear about that dragon?
no, never. I really never wanted anyone to know.
Yeah.
And they didn't know forever because it was so night and day
Okay.
between the two.
Hannah Montana.
Yeah, it was very Nikita and then Dragon.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I went further down my transition eventually, because that was happening while in school, that the line just started blurring more and more. And it wasn't as much of a, oh my God, this is like, I have to like throw this whole thing off.
Yeah. So
So-
when you talk about transitioning, talk about that for a sec. So at the time, I mean, there's different levels. Were you doing hormones at the
Yeah.
time? Were you getting plastic surgery? Like, describe the transition process.
So I'm very like, I don't know. A lot of people, that was the one thing doing this, that
Yeah.
people were like, you're doing this too fast. Oh my God, you're like, what? You're transitioning too fast. Like,
Yeah.
oh, how do you know? Whatever. I'm very goal oriented.
Uh-huh.
If I see something, I want it, I do it. And that's just how I've always been. I've had this dragon energy to me and it's developed over the years. But for me, I just was like, you know what? I'm trans. And, that was my first viral video. That was my first big video. That was how my family even found out I was trans, because I dropped this video not thinking anyone would watch it, but I just wanted to face it. So I faced it head on. I started hormones. I started doing consulting doctors for procedures. And I learned a lot because when I first got here, the first couple trans girls that I met, they were so beautiful. Like the most, even to this day.
It's LA. Everybody
it's
looks
LA.
great.
Everyone looks great.
Yeah.
But it was just this idea I never had in my mind. To me, a trans woman at the time
Looks
was
like a dude with a wig.
A dude with the wig. A dude with an effing
That's kind
wig.
of what it used to be.
Yeah, 6 foot. Like, you know, they wanted like.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh yeah, the whole thing. So when I met these beautiful, gorgeous women, red Louboutins, waking up at 3 p.m., beautiful, the biggest tits, the biggest ass you'd ever see.
Is waking up at 3 p.m. That's the key.
Oh.
Because you know you don't have a 9 to 5.
Honey.
Like, you're doing something
you're,
right.
You're chill.
Yeah.
So for me, I just idolized them. I was like, oh my God. And they took me under their wing. They started, you know, teaching me everything. I had to kind of get out of it because, which I never judge anyone.
How to get out of what?
Well, because the thing is, the reason why they were living such amazing fantasy lives, being with football players, being with NFL boys,
Gotcha.
being with rappers, celebrities, all these fine men, I was like, they pay you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, this really go? What do I know? That
Yeah,
really
so-
would go on?
Absolutely. So I would say about at least 85 to 90% of the trans girls that I met, especially in LA, were all working girls.
Like the 10s, the hot girls, the
Yeah,
Louboutins.
Absolutely. They
Those girls are
all
working
were
girls?
working girls, as meaning they were getting paid to
Wow.
have sex.
No shit.
You know, with couples, with all sorts of things, and I would never spill their tea, and I don't judge anyone. You
Yeah.
know, if that's how you make your coin, that's how you make your coin.
Sure.
But for them, it was their only option to get the money to afford the surgeries, to afford their hormones, to afford their rent. They had
Sure.
to turn to sex work.
Yeah. Wow. And you're kind of lucky to be born at this time and kind of come up the way you've done, because maybe 10 years ago, you might be in a similar situation.
Absolutely.
There was no Instagram, there's no YouTube, there's no brand deals.
Absolutely.
But now it's almost the perfect time where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, I can get a make a brand deal. I can
Yes.
do this. I can form a company. I can do all this stuff. And, you know, not have to
you know,
sell myself.
lay on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shocking for me, and I think especially being a young kid in LA, not really making that much money, not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life, and wanting to live the fantasy and being surrounded by that, I wanted to just jump into it. I'm like, well, I mean,
I want those heels.
I want those heels,
I want that apartment.
and that guy's really cute. Like, I don't mind.
Yeah.
So I did have a debate moment, but I can rightfully so say no man, woman, nothing has ever paid for anything from me. I've never been paid for sex. I've never had to lay on my back. You can't even count, you know, the people I've been with on, like, you know, one hand, honey. Just
for
because
you.
I learned very early on. I've always been an observer in that way, and so I just wanted to do it different. Not that I judged on how anyone else did it, but I just realized that was not the life for me, and I wanted to just make the change and show people that, you know, they don't have to do that.
So what were you doing at the time? Like, all this stuff costs money, the procedures, the hormones, everything. So what were you doing to kind of support all of that at the time?
So-
was Instagram becoming a thing? And
Yeah, Instagram became a thing, YouTube became a thing, and I was just fully fledged going in on it. And it all happened for me when I started being honest, because for the first, I would say like half a year, maybe almost a year, I would not tell anyone that I was trans. I didn't even want to admit that to myself. And so when I started being honest and started documenting things, only because it was, again, out of frustration. So maybe the Victoria's Secret thing now makes more sense to people. But it was out of frustration because I wanted to transition. I wanted all these answers, but no one would answer them. You know, it was always on some dark web or some secret forum that people were talking about hormones or surgeries or plastic surgeons. And, you know, of course, my good girlfriends, you know, the working girls would do all sorts of things illegally and all sorts of crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't opposed to, but I just, you know, again, wanted something different. So I just went ham with it. I worked really, really hard, and I made my own money. And I was a hustler.
Yeah.
I was a finesser, you know, from my first surgery, which was 8 hours.
Wow.
My FFS, they cut me ear to ear.
What's the FFS?
Facial feminization surgery.
Now, what is that? What do they do?
It's a crazy one. So it's one procedure.
Okay.
8 hours long. They cut you ear to ear. They peel down your forehead.
Like, shut up.
No.
What's that movie with Nicolas Cage
No,
and John Travolta,
absolutely.
Face Off?
Literally.
They literally pull your face off.
Pull your face all the way down, shave down your brow bone. The brow bone is the most masculine feature of a man.
Really?
Brow bone right here.
What do you mean, right here? What's so
So
masculine about that? Let me see.
a woman's is completely flat
Okay.
and soft. You have you see how their brow comes out?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's back
Ah.
to like the primate days.
Okay.
The men have strong brow bones.
Okay.
So it's weird. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Peel down, shave. When they restitch it, they lower their hairline because women have a softer hairline.
Yeah.
They go in through the jaw. I had a very strong predominant jaw,
Mhm.
so they shave down the bone,
Holy
crack
shit.
the muscle,
Jesus.
cut out the muscle,
Yeah.
take everything out, stitch you back up, and that's behind the ear that they do that, and they go in through the mouth. And then the last procedure I had done was my nose. So they go in.
They don't do all this at the same time,
they
do
did
they?
all that at the same time.
Holy shit.
8 hours. It was my very first surgery.
Wow.
Very first surgery.
How'd you feel after?
I'm a mutant.
Yeah.
I truly am, and my friends make fun of me for it.
What do you mean?
I heal like you wouldn't believe.
You're like an X-Man
I did
or
not
something.
bruise. I swelled up, obviously.
Yeah.
My chin and my neck were one,
Mhm.
like just swollen.
Yeah.
My face was puffy. I had 4 screws coming out of my head, like an inch out of my head.
Oh my God.
Holding my face together.
Yeah.
With stitches and everything.
Yeah.
Like bloody, whatever. But 3 days later, I was out watching movies. Which is probably not what you're supposed to do, but I can't just be kept up in a bed, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like I need to feel like I'm, you know, transforming in like a cocoon. I obviously was really great about resting, but I don't know. I just didn't want to be like.
How did you feel after you got that surgery the first time? Like you healed and you looked in the mirror, you're like, hey, this is what I always imagined I look like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it took forever for it to
look right?
To look right. It took, honestly, about a year.
Okay.
And so every time I thought, you know, I was like, oh my God, it's finally to the point where I want it. It
Yeah.
just would change. And I would be swollen, and it would less and less and less. I mean, for half of the year, I couldn't open my mouth more than like that because
Okay.
my jaw was almost like sewn shut.
Oh, man.
I know. So really crazy things. I think I was, again, so naive to it. So I just like dove straight into it.
And you're
thought it was
documenting
crazy.
the whole time.
And that was my biggest
Which is probably
video.
a good service because at the time no one was talking about it.
No one!
Somebody in Indiana,
No
some kid who wants
Yes.
this is like, oh shit, somebody's talking about it.
It's a very interesting thing, I think, to have had the mindset of a male and the female, because I see both worlds.
Sure. So it's more, it's interesting because it's more than just this.
Oh, absolutely.
There's the mindset too. You really do think like a woman, and guys and women, they think differently.
Absolutely.
You know, they look at the situations differently.
Yeah, that, and I just feel like it just allowed me to just, that inner being that's always been inside of me, that's been hidden for 18 years of my life, it just like bursted out. I've only been really Nikita for 3 years now, which is crazy. Yet I've always been the same, but now I'm just coming more into my own. But I feel like everyone grows as a person.
Let me ask you this, right? We've been sitting here for, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes talking about the transition. But at the end of the day, if I'm you, I go, I felt like a girl my whole life.
Yeah.
I look like a woman now. You know, I look great.
Feel like a woman. Thank
If I was just a born woman, I was sitting here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't talk about me being a woman for a half hour.
Exactly.
You would ask, what do I have going on? What's my business plans? This and that. So I just fell into the same trap I'm sure a lot of people do is like you focus so much on the trans identity, but like I'm a guy. That's a small part of who I am.
Exactly. But I think it is important to educate. So I personally have no problem. But that's the reason why, you know, going into this new year, I want to show more. You know, obviously my Victoria's Secret thing was so impactful because it was me as a trans woman. But to me, you know, what I do as a businesswoman or just as a person in general is just as important.
Like, what do you have going on now? What are your goals? Like, how did you get from I'm doing a little Instagram stuff to you now?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same journey. I mean, I started off, you know, trans. Oh my God, look at me, I'm trans.
Yeah.
And now it's just developed into I'm Nikita.
Yeah.
And I'm a person. So, you know, I think it started, weirdly enough, only about a year ago. It's coming up on the year anniversary of Coachella.
Okay.
That's when it started. At the time,
What do you mean?
I wasn't even, I mean, of course, people are going to be like, oh, you know, you're at 1 million, you know, followers. You made it.
Yeah.
But, you know, nowadays it's like, you know, people are all sorts of craziness. So for me, I really started this about a year ago, me standing on my own, me as a person, me independent, because that's when I also stopped school.
Okay.
So I started just allowing myself to be extra.
What happened at Coachella?
Coachella was the first moment that I ever just went ham with it, like living my fantasy, like not holding back. And so I came in with this crazy lime green sombrero and these ash chaps, and you know,
We'll show a picture.
Yeah,
here.
right. It
Yes.
said Nikita on my chest and Dragon on my ass, and had a rainbow wig, and that was the first time I ever. I guess people call it now pussy stunted or like pussy stunting video. So
Now, come on. What does that
okay,
mean?
let me.
Educate,
Okay, I'm the
what hell's
person.
pussy
You know, if you
stunting?
look it up, people, it's my word. I guess.
Yes,
Okay, I need
yes.
to copyright that. Hold
Yes.
up, Forbes, can you help me?
Yes.
So pussy stunting is that feeling, like imagine you get a brand new suit, fresh, you know, you got a facial.
You're shining, you feel
shining,
good.
You got a new watch, you
Yeah.
feeling good. You go out to the club, picture, or you're walking down the street,
Yeah.
and you know you have a presence to you.
Yeah.
you know that people are looking at you.
Sure.
You're feeding off the energy.
You got some swag.
You got some swag, and it's just stunting. So just that, you're like walking down, you're letting everyone have it, you're letting everyone know.
Yeah.
But you're not really asking for the attention. They're just giving it to you. So it's just
And what do you call that again?
pussy stunting.
I love it.
So it's like, you know, look at me, like I'm stunting.
And wait, so what did you just put a bunch of Instagram pictures up of Coachella and it just kind of
Well, I just started
crazy?
going ham with the looks.
Okay.
All the crazy fantasies that I wouldn't allow myself to do because I was like, no, this is too much. No, people, because I was so in the mindset of like wanting to copy other people. Like we were
Yeah.
talking before, no one's doing this stuff. No one's putting on a lime green sombrero. No one's putting on a pixie cut pink wig and a red duct tape all
Yeah.
around me. You know, just
You
crazy
found
stuff.
your voice.
I found my voice and I found my identity.
Mhm.
I just wanted to experiment the same way I was when I came to LA because I found to the routine. I transitioned, became a woman, everything, and then all of a sudden I wanted to be like every other girl.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, I want something more.
Yeah. And you think that's the reason for your success is taking it seriously? Like this is a job. Like you said it when you were in school,
Yeah.
you could have went another way.
Absolutely.
And went and used your degree and I'm going to be a marketing person for MAC Cosmetics or something. But you decided, no, I'm going to take this seriously and try to
Yeah.
do it on my own.
I think it was the same way that I was willing to take a risk to jump from Virginia to LA.
Yeah.
Start a new life for myself,
Yeah.
start being trans, you know, going through this whole journey. I'm just a risk taker. And I think that's what it was. I was allowing myself to live these fantasies that people were like, you're crazy
Yeah.
to do that. You're crazy to think that you could ever wear a pink wig and, you know, make money or, you know, do makeup tutorials and make a living or even beyond that. You're crazy to think that you can be more than just a YouTuber now.
Yeah.
So I just think that for me, it's just always been like, I have always just jumped. If I didn't have the answers, if I didn't have the, you know what was on the other side, the one thing I knew was I was confident enough to jump. and
I
just
think
do
it's
it.
I think it's good inspiration too to the person out here who's trans or doesn't kind of know.
No, or-
they
or
feel
not even that.
different
Yeah.
and they're sitting in Indiana
Absolutely.
in the suburbs somewhere and they feel like they're the only person in the state like this.
Yeah.
You were that person. You were
Absolutely.
sitting in Virginia kind of trying to figure it all out
Very
and
complacent.
Yeah.
I learned that word, complacent.
it's easy to look at you now and everything looks good and right you were sitting down with Forbes and you've
Yeah.
got brand deals and you have a big fancy birthday party. Happy birthday by
Thank
the way
you.
coming up. You got all this going on, but
21.
it's easy to forget that you were that person in, you know, trying to figure it out, looking on the dark web, trying to get answers.
Absolutely. You know, they think, oh, they made it. Oh, they're jaded. They have so many followers. They're not doing anything with their lives. They just sit there and take photos.
Yeah.
But it's the exact opposite. You know, I'm just the same as I was then. I think now that I've just grown into my own, I want more for myself.
What do you want? What are the goals coming up? You said you're a goal setter.
Yeah.
What are the goals?
I have always been a businesswoman.
Mhm.
So I think, you know, funny enough, hey, we're with Forbes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's talk biz.
Business. I want to create my own business, and that is happening this year.
Okay.
Something major.
Okay.
Something great. But, you know, I can't just work on one thing at a time.
No.
So not only that, not only diving my hands into just bigger things and bigger opportunities, but also, too, just continuing to push the limits, continuing to push what I'm supposed to be. You know, I want to dive into other media and other things.
You want to do more acting?
Yeah,
and stuff?
acting. You know, every YouTuber is like, oh, I want to be an actress.
No, or a singer.
I want to be a singer. Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
and I mean, could you imagine the first trans pop star?
That'd be huge.
Interesting. Funny.
People have tried before. I like it. Well, thank you for sitting down. Anything else you want to promote? Anything else you want to talk about?
Follow me on Instagram at Nikita_Dragun. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe below. Give this video a big thumbs up. Let me know if you guys would like me to put a pink wig on homeboy over here. I think it would look sickening.
I think I look pretty good. Do my
Imagine-
makeup too.
Imagine a day in the life of Nikita.
Oh my
I
God.
think you would survive. You would live. You would find
Let's
out.
go.
You would find out something that you would have never
I
known
want
was
to
in
shine.
there.
Make me look good.
Okay.
Let's go.
Done.
I'm in LA.
I'm
Holler.
here. I'm in Hollywood.
See you guys. Thank you.